Welcome back to the Truth Factory, the 10,000 subscriber edition. So thank you so much for your support. I received a lot of comments from people saying that I should set up a Patreon. So I have, it's in the description. I put a lot of time and research into my videos. I love doing this, but this cat still has bills to pay, and I would love eventually to transition into this as a full-time thing. Unfortunately, YouTube advertisers aren't so fond of my topics or my foul mouth, so even $1 helps out. And if you love the show and you don't have funds, liking and subscribing and sharing is still a fantastic way to support me. And from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you all. Your overwhelmingly positive comments make my day and just tell me that you're so sick of mainstream media, just as I am. So what should we talk about? Let's check out what's happening on the Cuck News Network. Trigger warning, this video is going to defend Donald Trump because no one else is, and I think it's important to stand up to bullies. Now, if Trump is triggering for you, you don't have to watch this. Here's a hole in the sand that will muffle out the facts. CNN is talking about Trump's approval ratings. Now, is this the same people who did the election polling data that said Hillary had a 95% chance of winning? Because if so, they need to put their crayon down. This is the problem with new Common Core math. It's wrong. If I have 3 apples and I add another 3 apples, how the fuck do I get 5 apples? Apparently this data comes from a Washington Post poll that has him at about a 38.6 approval rating right now. And this article's title is just misleading. He's not the lowest rated president. Even if we granted lower precision with that amount, we still had past presidents in the 20s, Nixon, Truman, both Bushes, and Carter. But the Washington Post must have done a huge unbiased poll to base this article on, right? Let's look at the questions. Well, the last one. Do you consider yourself a Democrat, a Republican, or independent? Well, let's look at the answers. 35% Democrat, 23 Republicans, and 35 independents. So not only is that super biased, that only adds up to 93%. Is this still the new Common Core math, or am I missing something? Where's the additional 7%? And I went to look for this again, and it mysteriously went missing. This is complete horse shit. This is why you are fake news. Because when I look at Republican approval rating, Trump hasn't dropped below 80% since he took office. So the really interesting thing is when you look at a non-biased survey that has an equal amount of Republicans and Democrats, you get an identical split per party. As a poll taken in February where 92% of Clinton voters disapprove and exactly 92% of Trump voters approve. And when you put that just into Democrats and Republicans, it is an equal split at 86%. These numbers reveal the real political divide that's happening right now. And I have to wonder how much of this disapproval is manipulated by left-leaning media outlets. I've never seen such an insidious orchestrated attack by media to discredit and vilify a president ever. I mean, if you follow my channel, we know that the news shills are being funded by globalist monsters with financial and political motivations for impeachment. And this is why these people are forced to comment on everything from how many scoops of ice cream he eats to what fucking memes he posts on Twitter. You know, real journalism. In my opinion, this is not only distorting the truth and even democracy, this is equivalent to what teenage girls do to each other on social media. It's just gossip spreading and bullying. But it brings up an interesting topic. Does popularity equate to morality and competency? Well, anyone who went to high school will tell you no. Why does everyone associate the need to be likable with being a great leader? For example, Hitler was endorsed 9-1 by Germany, extremely popular by its people, and when he was in power, under his rule, hundreds of thousands of people died. In fact, a lot of great leaders throughout history did not win any popularity contests. For example, despite the common misconception about everyone loving the Republican Abraham Lincoln, historians indicate that his support in his nation was only about 25%, roughly equivalent to the lowest approval rating recorded by modern-day polling. In fact, most people said that Lincoln was a mumbling moron, and millions of Democrats went to war in opposition of Lincoln. And now he has his face carved into a fucking mountain and is revered as the greatest president that ever lived. I mean, even Jesus was not the most popular. The Jewish leaders hated him and turned crowds against him. And you can't even say that's not true. They literally crucified him. That is how low his approval rating was. Now, I'm not saying that Trump is like Lincoln or Jesus. That's like comparing apples to oranges to Jesus. But something they all have in common is that they went against the grain hard and they pissed a lot of people off. I'm saying it doesn't matter if Trump is likable right now, or what you think of his hair, or if he likes ice cream, or if his son met with a Russian lawyer once. What is important is that he protects the lives, values, and financial security of the citizens of the USA. When he fails to do that in any significant way, then we can have an unfavorable opinion of him. Until then, instead of only hearing the shit that the mainstream media is trying to shove down your throats, let's look at some positive things that Trump has done since he's been in office. Peace with Russia and a ceasefire in Syria. That's a good thing. Economy is stable and growing. That's a good thing. The job growth under him has been averaging 172,000 jobs per month, which beats out Obama's monthly average by over 50,000 jobs. That's a good thing. And he's been making friends with world leaders. Look at Macron. Those are relationship goals. All I need in my life is to find a man who looks at me the way Macron looks at Trump. Just weeks ago, I thought he was a schmuck, and then he spends a few days with Trump, and suddenly Macron starts deporting refugees, threatens to pull out of the EU, and wants to make France into a military superpower? I bet on the way out, Trump said, "Macron, don't mess up France the way pathetic low IQ Merkel messed up Germany. Now shake my hand for exactly 25 minutes to distract the fake news for a week." And that's the 10,000 subscriber show tonight, guys. Thank you so much for supporting me. I have to go watch Game of Thrones. Have a great night.